Hello everyone, it is Dylan from Yu-Gi-Oh! Everything back with another Yu-Gi-Oh! Arc-V summary podcast. I love doing these for you guys that are not aware. At the beginning of every month when the 4 or 3 or 2 episode summaries come out, whatever summaries correlate to that month, I get 3 or 4 friends on a podcast and we discuss the summaries. We go in-depth on the topics, and you guys are more than welcome to go in-depth in the comment section as well. I just love doing these videos, and I have 3 great people on as always, so thank you to the 3 for joining me. By the way, these are the summaries correlating to episodes 134, 135, 136, 137. Even though we are recording this before 134, you guys will probably be seeing it the Sunday after 134 is released, so just keep that in mind. We don't know what's going to happen in 134, even though you guys viewing it might know what happened, so keep that in mind. But joining me today is Xyzeon, or Speedroid, a person that I get all my Tumblr information from. I'm so glad that she decided to come on and join us today. She used to do Arc-V reviews. She was actually one of the people that inspired me to start doing them on YouTube. She makes up-to-the-minute Tumblr posts, breaking news, cast lists, scans, episode summaries. Really the best person to follow on Tumblr for up-to-date information on all things Yu-Gi-Oh! Just a fantastic person. She tweets a lot about different aspects of Arc-V, Pokemon, etc. So definitely check her out on all 3 platforms. She'll obviously be giving her own plug-in, as all these people will be joining me today at the end of the video or in the middle of the video, but you can find them all down below in the description, so please check all of them out. The second person is RarityFanGirl. It's the first time she's joining me on one of these summary podcasts. You guys probably do know her because she does the Arc-V manga scale reviews with me every month. She does Arc-V manga dubs on her own channel, which are fantastically made. She makes various fan-made edits on usually about Arc-V, and she makes really cool Tumblr posts. Definitely check her YouTube out and check her Tumblr out if you have not already. And last but not least, Forte, who is joining us on short notice, so major shout out to him. Thank you for joining us, Forte, literally on like 10-hour notice because someone had to unfortunately drop out, so I'm glad he was able to do it. He occasionally makes Arc-V theories, discussions over on his YouTube, and he tweets a lot, so definitely check him out on both platforms. So thank you to all 3 for joining me today. Here are the 4 topics that we will be discussing, and then we'll get into the topics, and hopefully you guys will be commenting down below your thoughts on these topics as well, counter-arguments to the points we make, or agreeing with the points that we make. So the first topic, Yuya vs. Yuri will be the final duel before Zarc is revived. What are our predictions? Who is going to win this duel? How do we think the end will play out? How do we think the revival will play out, etc.? The second topic will be Zarc is going to defeat Sora and others. Which characters do you think may fall under others? I wrote that topic before we learned Edo is confirmed to duel with Sora, but it's interesting that others is a plural term, and Edo obviously is one character, which is singular, so is it going to be maybe a 3-on-1 or a 4-on-1 and we don't know any other characters that are involved, or will it just be Edo and Sora? Also, will Edo and Sora be carded, or will something worse actually happen to them if they get defeated and quote-unquote killed off? The third topic, there are so many characters at Academia right now. Sora, Shingo, Shun, Edo, Kaido, Gangenzaga, Reiji, Rara, Leo, Jack, Battle Beast, etc. Even characters like Barrett, Kachidoki's in the Fusion Dimension. We know Sora will fall to Zarc, then Shun and Kaido will team up against him. What are some matchups that you would like to see take on Zarc? Number 4, at this point, how do we think Arc-V will end? Will Zarc lose to Ray? What will be the Bracelet Girl's fate? What will be the Use Boy's fate? Etc., etc. So this is the 4th final podcast in terms of episode summaries for Arc-V that will be done, assuming it ends in March. So obviously predicting the end is something that will probably be discussed in the next few podcasts as well. So it'll be interesting to see what we have to say about that. But we're going to get right into things with Xyzeon. That's a name that I have to... Speedroid Xyzeon is the same person, by the way. It's the name that I have to get used to saying. I've been used to saying Alpha and Speedroid every time I give credit in the cast list analysis or whenever a breaking news comes out. So I'm going to start with you, Xyzeon. Yuya vs. Yuri will be the final duel before Zarc is revived. We just learned in the cast list that this duel will be concluding in 135. Who do you think is going to win this duel? How do you think the end may play out? How do you think Zarc may be revived? Just anything you want to say about this this particular topic.
Well, first of all, I, like most of these people, I do not know at all. I have no idea. But I do have 3 possible outcomes that I think could happen. One of them is Yuri could win, like you've been saying, it's possible. But the reason I think this is because it might be a chance for Yuya to sort of battle the darkness within himself in a certain way, just to sort of give it more development and see what he does and how he deals with it. But at the same time, I don't know how they would try to make it make sense. I don't know how well it would work out, honestly. And the second one is Yuya wins, but it's too late and Zarc revives. I don't know how that would happen. There's so many things that could happen during during the duel that I honestly do not know. But yeah, Yuya could win. But at the same time, I'm not sure because Yuri has defeated, I don't know, 6, 7 plus characters in a row, so it's kind of hard to say if Yuya will be able to win. And it's also, since Yuya is not, he's not able to deal with him right now, so I don't know how I'd be able to do it. And the third one is no result. I honestly don't know if there will be no result. Since the summary came out, it says that there will be a conclusion, but I don't know if the conclusion will be an interruption or it could be one of the two winning. So that's what I think overall. So yeah, I honestly want Yuya to win, but at the same time, I'm not 100% sure on that.
Mm-hmm. Well, I pretty much agree with you 100% there. I feel like if you asked me this months ago, Yuya definitely would have won. But just now looking at it, I can see Yuri winning. I don't know if he's, again, as you say, I don't know if he's going to win, but there's definitely a possible chance there. So is there anything else you want to add there, Xyzeon, or did you pretty much say what you wanted to get off your chest?
Yes, that's pretty much it.
Okay, cool. So yeah, it's definitely a very hard duel to call. Pretty much all these duels towards the end, except maybe now the Zarc ones, have been kind of tough to call. So Rarity, I'm going to move it over to you. Who do you think is going to win? Do you think that there's any chance Yuri is going to win? I know you're a little more adamant than me and Speedroid are on this about who is going to win, and how do you think this duel may play out?
I think Yuya is 100% going to win, and this is why. Yuri has stated multiple times throughout the show that he has never lost. He stated this to Yusho, he stated this to Asuka, he stated this to pretty much every single character he's fought against. So, wouldn't it be a missed opportunity if he just won again? Not having to accept defeat before he's absorbed? Imagine that scene. You remember the Tyler sisters, right? You remember their expression when they lost, right? Their, shocked expression, they were on the ground, not able to process everything. Imagine that on Yuri and even an animation. Imagine how dramatic that scene could be. That Yuri's on the ground, he doesn't understand what loss is. And then we have everyone's coming together, and Yuya, who I presume has snapped out of berserk mode at this point, comes to him, offers his hand, because Yusho's in the cast list twice, so I feel like Yuri's gonna kind of get redeemed or something like that, because I don't know why Yusho's gonna be here. Plus, there was a lot of focus on Smile World and 134, so that's what I'm kind of leaning towards, that Yuya's gonna try to redeem Yuri. Maybe not through a gal, but there's some other method. Maybe, because Yuya and Yuri, to me, had similar childhoods. They were really lonely people. And, Yuri's kind of the dark mirror for Yuya anyway, so it kind of makes sense that if he got redeemed or at least saw the light a little bit before he got absorbed to do it like that. But just imagine, because does Yuya really know that Zarc will be formed if he wins? Does Yuya really know that? Think about it. Does Yuya really know? I personally don't think he knows that, so imagine he's thinking, oh, I'm gonna help Yuri, we're gonna work together, we're gonna save the Bracelet Girls, and then Zarc shows up. Imagine the horror on everyone's face, Yuya's face, everyone together, when this happens. That would be just so dramatic. And in terms of how the duel's gonna play out, I think that it would be a wasted opportunity if Yugioh didn't do anything. Now, I understand I'm biased. I'm very, very biased towards Yugioh as a character, but in terms of a story standpoint, why wouldn't they make use of him? This is the only time Yuri and Yugioh are going to be like this in the entire show. So if they didn't do anything, it would be a wasted opportunity. And Yugioh isn't the type of character to let things go down. And he's speaking in both 134 and 135. It would just be so cliche to have him take over Yuri and say, oh, you need to defeat me, Yuya, who cares? Don't redeem this guy or something. It would be, so Yu-Gi-Oh cliche to do that, because we've seen this in Duel Monsters, when Merrick dueled, Yami Merrick dueled Atem, the good Merrick showed up and, deflected his attack, so Atem would win. We saw this in Dark Signer Carly versus Jack. She played the wrong card in order to get Jack to win. We've seen this before. So it wouldn't be completely out of the question for them to do that again with Yugioh as a character. So that's why I think that's gonna happen, but I honestly don't know. And in terms of anything new that I'm thinking is going to happen duel-wise, I think that Clearwing Venom Dragon is going to happen, which is the presumed fusion or whatever of Star Venom and Clearwing, because Yuya would be a fool to not use Odd Eyes Raging Dragon or Odd Eyes Rebellion Dragon in this duel. He would be a fool not to, right? Especially because he's mad. If he's in Berserk mode, like, why wouldn't he do that? Plus, we know Yuya has so many weapons at his disposal. He's got Synchro, he's got all the summoning methods at his disposal. Which is another reason I think he's going to win, because he's got a big advantage on Yuri in that respect. He's got, like, all the power, you know, of all the summoning methods. Plus, he has Pendulum, which Yuri has never fought Pendulum before. Keep that in mind. He hasn't fought Pendulum before. Because I doubt he's ever done Akabaleo. I doubt that. And Yusho supposedly had Pendulum cards, but I guess he didn't have Pendulum cards, but whatever. So that's basically what I think on the duel. Yuya is going to win. Yugioh better do something. And Yuri's redemption better not feel rushed or whatever, but I just can't wait to see Zarc's beautiful face in Ibana animation, because Ibana, as you know, is the best animator. So I'm really excited that she's doing this episode, because in terms of her episode count, she should have done 134, because she's been doing every 9 episodes for a while, but now she's doing the 10th, which I'm happy she's doing this episode instead of the 134. So I'm happy about that, but we'll see what happens. I just can't wait to see how this is going to go out, and if Zarc does have yellow eyes, because I'm so buying on the fact he has yellow eyes.
Well, some great points by the two first ladies that have joined me on one of these summary podcasts. And yeah, it's just going to be so interesting to see what happens. And you were talking about how it happened with Marek when he dueled Yugi, and with Darkseid or Carly. It even happened a few episodes when Shun dueled Ruri, right? A very similar thing. So it's something that definitely I could see happening. Now, Forte, do you have anything you want to add before we move on to the second topic?
Yeah, I just wanted to say I agree 100% with Rarity. I think this is going to be the duel Yuri loses, and I think it would be a pretty good opportunity to give him some redeeming factor. And as we know from the summary, it says the episode after that, the dueling that they thought would save the world, referring to Yuya's dueling. And I think that's because Yuri may actually turn around after this. And of course, none of it's going to matter because Zarc is going to be revived, and this was all contingent on his plan to be revived anyway. But I do think this would be a pretty good opportunity to redeem Yuri, and I think it would be just that, what should I say? I think it would be even more powerful that even though they redeemed Yuri and everyone's happy, Zarc is still reborn. I think it's just a huge slap in the face for Yugioh. Of course, it probably won't end up that way because this is Yu-Gi-Oh, but I think that would be really, really, really good writing on their part, and I kind of hope they do that, because it would be like you have this happy light, if you will, and then all of a sudden it's just completely shrouded by darkness. Of course, that darkness being Zarc's revival. So I just kind of wanted to throw that out there, that I think that would be a really good idea on their part, and I hope it happens, and I think it probably will happen.
Yeah, well, I'm glad you chimed in. So as you guys can see, the panel, I think we all believe that Yuya is going to win, but me and Speedroid are a little more hesitant, while Rarity and Forte are adamant 100% that Yuya is going to win this duel. So you guys comment down below. All I'm going to say is the biggest upset of this show, I don't know one person that thought Rin was going to defeat Yugioh in 117. I think that was a massive, so that's all I'm going to say. This show has done some massive upsets before. Just, I wouldn't say Yuya is 100% certainly going to beat Yuri. I do believe he will, but I just think we should be a little more hesitant about it. That's all I'm going to say. We're going to move on. You guys comment down below. We're going to move on to the second topic, and I'm going to get us started here. So Zarc will defeat Sora. He's going to defeat Sora and others. And we know Edo is one of the others, and I already made a discussion video yesterday. I'll link it, or I guess it'll be Friday if this comes out Sunday. I'll link it down below if you guys want to check that out, giving my thoughts on it. And what do I think? Do I think that they might be killed off and not carded? Because at this point we know Arc-V is completed, and what's the point of carding people anymore? And, would they do something serious, like actually killing Edo and Sora and maybe another person? First of all, I just think this is a bit of a typo or a mistranslation. I don't think that, and I know it says Sora and others, I really do believe it will just be Sora and Edo. That's my opinion. I can't think of anyone else, especially since Kaido and Shun are going to be doing their own duel. I can't think of anyone else, especially no fusion user. I don't see, Hell Kaiser coming in and making a huge entrance and dueling just to lose in one episode. This is just going to be Edo and Sora, in my opinion. I would be pretty stunned if it wasn't. So I just think that's a little mistranslation or a typo with the S on others. I know it's a plural word, but I wouldn't look too much into it. And then we get the line in the 137 summary to carry on the wishes of their friends. And I know I already talked about this, so I don't want to go too in-depth into it. But I do believe that Edo and Sora are going to be killed. Now, I think they're going to be carded, which, by the way, carded is the equivalent of being killed. Now, yes, we know there's a way to revive carded people. The reason I believe this is because if they don't card Edo and Sora and they make them permanent deaths, that means that everyone who loses to Zarc would have to be a permanent death. So Kaido and Shun would have to be permanent deaths. Potentially, Gangenzaga, Shingo, Reiji, Jack, who else knows who's going to duel Gangenzaga, who else knows who's really going to duel Zarc, would all have to be permanent deaths. And it goes back to the point I just made. Why would they be carding people? What's the point of even carding people? And the reason that I still believe that they are going to be carded is one reason in particular. Yuri, during that Asuka duel, at the end of Asuka, he says he pictures a world where everyone is carded and it shows that he's the strongest duelist and he's the last one standing. To me, that wasn't really Yuri talking as much as Zarc controlling him. Now, you could beg to differ because Yuri is a bit of a twisted child. We all know that. So that's the reason that I do believe he's still, even as Zarc, going to be adamant on carding people. When he carded Asuka, do you think he was doing it to create Arc-V, to help Leo Akaba in his plans to create Arc-V? No. That was the end effect of it, because that's where carded people's energy goes. But he was doing it because he just said he wanted to be the strongest person, and he cards people for fun. And I think that's a trait that Zarc, which we know Zarc wants to be the strongest duelist ever, which, we kind of saw that in the flashbacks where it looked like he did genuinely kill people in the stands, if I'm going to be completely blunt. I just feel like he still will be carding characters even after the machine is completed. I wouldn't be opposed to the permanent deaths, but I feel like in this situation, in 5Ds, we had Bruno permanent death, and I guess we had a few others if you want to count Zone and Aporia. And then in Zexal, Mr. Heartland was a permanent death. In GX, Amon, Adrian Gecko was a permanent death. So every Yu-Gi-Oh! Show usually has one or two permanent deaths, but I would make the case that we've already had a permanent death. Jean-Michel Raget, I really believe that he, all jokes aside, was permanently killed, and that's what we should have, kind of seen coming. I know there were a few theories that he was in Standard. I think he's permanently dead. I think we got our permanent death. But that's just my take on it. Rarity, I'm going to let you chime in for a little bit, then we're going to go to Forte.
I just want to say that how would Zarc card people? Because, well, as far as we know, the carding technology was something Leo created, right? And if Zarc comes back, wouldn't he have his own dual disc? So, how could he card people? Because how could he... What is he going to have? Yuri's disc? Like, that doesn't make any sense to me. So I think when they lose, their energy is going to go into Zarc and just make Zarc more powerful or something around those lines, if they decide to do that, because it makes more sense. Because, like you said, carding doesn't mean anything anymore, perfectly honest. I just don't understand how he could card people. What would he do to card them? There's also the question if Zarc's going to come back as a human or a dragon. That's, another thing that's always bothering me. I think they will show him human, and I think what's going to happen is that, correct me if I'm wrong, someone was telling me that Zarc's gonna have different forms based on the summoning methods. Someone told me that was kind of leaking for the pack he's gonna show up in. I don't know if that's confirmed or not. Do not give me 100% on that. But that would be interesting that, if something like that, he used, the Xyz form to beat the Xyz users, the fusion, etc., that would make sense to kind of throw in the face, oh, your summoning methods aren't as good as mine because I'm gonna kick all your butts, basically. I just don't know when Zarc to come back as a human. I feel like he has to come back as a human, because number one, animation reasons, because animating a giant dragon dueling would, number one, how would it fit in the throne room without destroying it, or destroying the machine? It's so huge, and a giant wingspan. So I feel like he's not going to become the Dragon Lord Zarc until, he duels Leo, or Reiji, or Ray, personally honest. But that's just me.
Yeah, it makes sense. No, it makes sense. And I like that maybe the energy gets absorbed into Zarc rather than carding. I do like that theory a lot. Forte, what are your thoughts on all this? I know you're a huge Edo fan, so I'm glad you took this topic. What are your thoughts on all this development?
Well, it's really weird because at the same token, I'm really glad to see Edo duel again. But once again, he's not going to win. Edo and Sora, and it's confirmed that they lose. So that would mean that Edo's dueling record was 5 duels, 1 draw, and then just 4 losses.
Jesus.
So I know it's ridiculous. It's like GX all over again. It's like I'm going through like PTSD over here. But I'm always glad to see Edo duel and see Destiny Heroes. And if we get more Destiny Heroes from this duel, as a real person who plays the card game, I'm always happy about that. But looking at the duel, I think it'll be very interesting. I do like that it's going to be Sora and Edo, because we did get a little backstory with Sora and Edo's relationship when Edo and Kaito were dueling against Yugioh and Yuri, mouthful of names. But we got a little more backstory about how Sora just basically was like, well, I didn't like him, so I didn't team up with him. And I kind of like that. It was kind of sassy. It reminded me of the good old days when Arc-V first came on, and I thought Sora was just so sassy. But I did like all the backstory we got, and I do find it cool that we're going to seemingly have the different summoning method users together, each one kind of going up against Zarc. But as far as Edo losing again, not too happy, but as long as it's a good duel and beautifully animated, I'll be okay with that. But going with Sora and Edo's character development, I think Sora was developed well. And that makes sense since he's an Arc-V original character. And I have made the point that despite the fact that I do like Edo and I do like the returning characters, this is Arc-V, this isn't GX, this isn't 5Ds, this isn't Zexal. So it should be more focused on those characters. But at the same time, the Arc-V writers went out of their way to make sure that we understood that this is not the Jack, the Edo, the Crow, the Asuka, all those different the Kaito, these are not the characters you knew from the previous shows. But at the same time, it's like they depended on us to make connections with those old characters, because Edo, to me, wasn't as well developed as he could have been. We got no reason for him using Destiny Heroes like we did in GX. Like, what was his reasoning? Why does he like the archetype? We didn't really get any reason for him wanting to help Leo accomplish his plans, other than the fact that he grew up in academia. This is all he's known. He's been brainwashed, which I thought was really powerful when he's struggling to accept Egao. He keeps the Torn Smile world because he did smile that one time, and he was like, no, this cannot be. He's keeping it, trying to fight the beliefs he's been taught versus the beliefs that he sees and experiences, and he was in that conundrum, and I thought that was really powerful. But at the same time, like so many people have said, it felt like his redemption was too quick. And a lot of that has to do with the time issue for Arc-V, and I completely understand that. But it just felt like they depended on us to rely on our previous knowledge of these characters, while also saying these are not the characters you knew, but we're not going to develop them as well as maybe as they could have been. I don't want to rag on it too much. I don't want to rant. But I was glad Edo and all the other characters came back, and I'm actually really excited for this duel against Zarc. I think it could be some very, very powerful stuff. And going back to the fact as to what I think they're going to be carded or killed, the thing about carding is, and we all knew it, we knew carding wasn't a permanent thing. We know no one permanently dies in Yu-Gi-Oh! But Edo revealed before Yuya and the remaining Lancers that weren't separated went to the fusion dimension, like, oh, there's a way to reverse it. And I was like, no, don't say that. I know everyone knows, but I just really didn't. I really wish they didn't just say it outright. So I was kind of hoping that maybe Zarc, when you lose to him, you permanently die, but at the same time there's a way to bring them back at the end, just to give us some sort of desperation. It's just some kind of desperate feeling. But, Arc-V is really hard to predict, and I was completely, almost done with predicting the magical aspect of Arc-V when all of a sudden Yuya was dueling and then Yuto's cards just magically appeared. I was like, what? How does that even happen?
The love of his girl, man. You can't deny true
just,
love.
I know. Love conquers all, apparently, except for Zarc. seemingly so far. But, yeah, with all that in mind, really hard to predict. I'm excited for the duel. As long as it's good, well animated, then I've got nothing to complain about.
Very fair. Yeah, so hopefully you guys comment down below what you think about that topic. I mean, it is confirmed that Zarc will be dueling Edo and Sora again, and it is confirmed that Edo and Sora, and potentially another character, will be falling. Real quick, before we move on to the third topic, you think it will be just strictly Sora and Edo? You don't make too much Forte into that others kind of nonsense?
Yeah, I completely forgot to even talk about that. My fault.
No, you're good. I mean, that's because you probably just didn't even give it two thoughts.
Yeah, I really didn't. I really think it's just a mistranslation. The only I actually have it written down.
I think it is
have
because on DMC, I think on New York Cradle, because remember that scan I showed you, Dylan?
Yeah.
I think he translated the 137. I think the 137 summary just says Sora and Edo now. I think.
Yeah, so,
So I think it's
that
just
makes
them.
sense.
I'm
Right.
not sure though.
No, it
'Cause
probably
where
is.
would they be?
And we
Because
do-
where would they be in 135?
Right, exactly. We do get mistranslations a lot. Well, not a lot, but, well, I mean, it depends. I mean, there's times where Speedroid will send me a summary, and it literally makes no sense at all. It was like, there was one that said, like, well, I guess it was when Rara dueled Reiji. I mean, and it did happen, but it was just, I mean, you guys know they can be very wonky in the beginning.
Yeah.
But then usually they get genuinely translated. But anyway, we're going to move on. We're going to move on to our third topic in Speedroid Xyzeon. I'm going to start with you. There are so many characters at Academia right now. In fact, this has been one of the, I think, complaints that a few people have with just how kind of overpopulated the universe has been. Sora, Shingo, Shun, Edo, Kaido, Gangenzaka, Reiji, Rara, Leo, Jack, Battle Beast. We know Sora will fall to Zarc, and then we know Shun and Kaido will team up against him, and that's all we know at 137. What are some matchups that you would like to see take on Zarc, Speedroid?
Well, the first one I do want to see, and I'm not sure, is Jack versus Zarc. Yeah, that's a pretty big one, but I'm not sure if it will be a tag duel with Gangenzaka. I'm guessing because, Gangenzaka uses synchros, and we've been talking about that people will be using going up against Zarc, and each of them will be using a different summoning method. Mm-hmm. So probably, I'd also think it'd be interesting since Jack was the one who sort of gave Yuya a very tough time, just not only in duel wise, but personal wise, trying to sort of straighten Yuya out in certain ways of his beliefs. And I think that would make for an interesting duel, but I just don't know if Jack will probably lose if he is going up against Zarc, but I'm not sure if it's a smart idea to make Jack lose against Yuya again in a certain way, but who knows. And then the second one I want to see is I like to say it's like a Yuya versus Zarc in a way, but I'm not sure if that would work. It's kind of like what I'm saying before against Yuya trying to deal with the darkness within himself. I'm not sure if that would work in a way because I don't know if Zarc if it's really Zarc a personality or it could be just the darkness itself.
Mm-hmm.
So, and also like the other duel I'd really like to see is of course Ray versus Zarc. I'm guessing that's the big one, the big duel that everybody's waiting for in a way.
Mm-hmm.
You have you don't have Ray in the cast list. Like we don't have her appearing at all these next few episodes, so I assume they're saving her for last. I was speculating that it could be not just her, it could be her and Reiji against Zarc. I'm thinking, because that'd be an interesting situation in a way, because, Rei is Leo's daughter, Reiji is Leo's son, brother-sister dueling against Zarc. I guess that would be a pretty interesting duel, in my opinion. I mean, another team up I thought would be Leo and Reiji, but I'm not sure if that's even possible because Leo, I don't know what he's gonna do after Ray is revived. Will Ray agree with what he's been doing? Because Ray's been saying that revive me, and at the same time that doesn't make sense to me because why would? But I'm guessing she realizes it's a little too late, and she realizes that it's too late, and Zarc will revive anyway, which will happen. So I'm guessing that's why she wants to be revived because she knows it's probably too late. No matter what they do, it's Zarc is coming back. So yeah, that's the top duel I really want to see is Ray versus Zarc. That's the big one.
Yeah, some great matchups, and honestly, a lot of matchups that I'll give my thoughts on this, that I myself would love to see, and I didn't even think about that. I think the Jack... someone did point out that Gangenzaka, his graveyard would be, badly affected if in tag duels, and that's all he's been doing recently is tag duels. So that's... if they share a graveyard. So that's that could be an issue there, but I still do believe it will be Jack and Gongenzaga. And it's interesting because someone else pointed this out to me on Twitter, that Jack, much like Crow, did not die at all during 5D, so it would be very interesting to see how they handled that scene. And it would be very interesting to see the reception it got from the community, as Jack is one of the more well-loved people. But I like what you said, that it is kind of Jack losing to Yuya in a way. I didn't really even think about that, because, yeah, either way you look at it, Zarc is Yuya, so I like how you kind of pointed that out. Now, a duel that I would love to see is, I've been saying it for a while and you already touched on it, Reiji and Ray versus Zarc. I would love to see that duel, because I think Ray versus Zarc, if that's how it ends, I don't know, I feel like it's how it ended in the original Dimension. I feel like they should do something a little different. That's just my opinion on it. Another thing that I would love to see is Zarc has 4 entities. So how about you do Zarc versus Reiji, Rara, Ray, and Leo, the 4 Akabas.
Yes.
Yeah, now that's tough because it's going back to what Speedroid just said. Would Leo and Reiji fight together, and what is Leo's role going to be when Ray is revived? But I think that would be really cool, the 4 Akabas going up against Zarc, and maybe you could even have it so that Zarc is somehow split into 4 entities, and each one goes up against a different entity. I think that would be really interesting, but then that wouldn't really make sense, because Ray is 4 entities as well, so then technically it's like a 7-on-4, and it just gets very confusing at that point. But that's a duel I'd love to see. Another duel I'd like to see, this is a complete curveball route, and a complete duel that I do not think is going to happen. Here's a character that no one is talking about, Barrett. Where the heck is Barrett? Is supposed to be somewhere here. I would love to see him, and I do think this is a permanent death character, but John Michael Rajay, I would love to see him and Barrett team up against Leo Akaba. I don't know what the reasoning would be. I don't know what the purpose would be. I can't say that duel has any shot of happening, but that's just a duel that I think I would love to see happen. That's completely out of left field, but I would love to see that happening. So those are just some duels that I would like to see. You guys obviously let us know in the comments below. So some really, really good duels by from Speedroid and from myself, so hopefully you guys comment down below some duels that you would like to see occur. Neither of us mentioned Shingo. Poor Shingo. He deserves a duel at this point, a character that I know a lot of people do like a lot, a character that I have never really been too fond of, but at this point, give the guy a duel, come on. But I mean, that's just my opinion on it, but I think that's interesting that neither of us brought up.
His disc is broken.
Well, that's true, but that's very true, yeah, that's very true. Alright, well, we are going to move on to the 4th topic, the final topic, and this is a topic that I'm glad I'm not scheduled to do, because I have no idea how I would even begin to answer this question, and so God bless you, Rarity and Forte. At this point, how do you think Arc-V will end? Do you think Zarc will be defeated to Ray? What do you think the Bracelet Girl's fate will be? What do you think the U-Boy's fate will be? Do you think this is going to be a very dark ending, or do you think it will be your typical Yu-Gi-Oh! Happy ending? Maybe a little bit somberness if some people do permanently lose their lives. What are your thoughts? Rarity, we're going to start with you.
Alright, so I'm going to talk about how the ending's going to go, how Zarc will be defeated. Well, there's 2 routes they could go. The more route that I want to see is that I kind of want to see the start of the duel is Ray versus Zarc, either with Rage or whatnot, right? Just the 2 of them dueling, right? And through them, the Bracelet Girls remember, because Zarc in the summary for 136 says, oh, like, because of Yuya I revived, right? So wouldn't that imply that Zarc has the memories of all 4 of the boys? So wouldn't that be the same thing for Ray? So think about it. The Bracelet Girls, well, 3 out of the 4 care about 3 out of the 4 guys in there. No one cares about Yuri, I'm sorry, except for the fans of the show. Sarah doesn't care a crap about you. But still, think about that. What if they came out, or Ray willingly splits herself back up, admitting she was wrong? That I can't get through to Zarc, but these 4 girls can, and willingly splits herself back up through magical bullcrap means. And then it's the 4 girls versus Zarc, and through them, if the boys come out and they all 4 of them fight Zarc together, because in a way, like, they all have the bracelets anyway, so it's not like Zarc, where Zarc had the giant power, like he had the dragon, right? All 4 of them had the bracelets anyway. It's not to say, like, the bracelets work any differently if, like, they were all on one person, we don't know that, but I presume they do the same thing, right? They're all the same. Just put the 4 girls together and shine their blastful laser at Zarc, and apparently it will do something. I don't think that would be too easy then. But again, will Ray revive with her bracelets or not? Or will they turn back into the cards again? I don't know. Because Leo mentions, oh, that card, so maybe there's a card or something. But whatever, that's the duel I'd like to see, because then we get some emotional moments of Yuya and Yuzu, Yuto and Ruri, Yugo and Rin, my babies, and then Yuri and Sarah. Sarah doesn't be like, I want to punch you in the face. Okay, I'll try to save you, but I'm here for everyone else, not you, Yuri. I'm sorry. I think that would be kind of funny, but that's not the route they're gonna go, because female characters can't do anything in Yu-Gi-Oh! I'm sorry, Ray. That's why I think Ray won't even defeat Zarc, because number one, that's too cliche and too obvious. So what I think actually will happen, well, it's also the main character always defeats the villain. In a way, they've always done that in every show. So I think what's going to happen here is the four boys are going to team up together to fight Zarc from within. I think that would be really cool. And see them arguing, like not being able to trust Yuri, or if Yuri doesn't get redeemed, Yuri maybe like saying, oh, Yuri's gonna side with Zarc. I don't know. I think that would be really cool to give, the four boys a nice little collaboration. They create this new fusion card, like not like a Zarc card, like a combined form of all four of them, but it's not Zarc. You know what I mean? Like without the magician's power, I guess, because the magician was the thing that let the dragons fuse in the first place. So that would be really cool. Plus, it maybe be like showing that these four boys have like this personality and stuff. Like they are, like they're their own people. You can't just like kill them off and return back to yourself. And I think no matter what happens, at the end of the show, the four boys and the four girls are going to be their own persons again. And I think Zarc and Ray are going to give up themselves and say that these four deserve to have their lives. We had our time, and what we did, it was our mistakes. Because I think Zarc and Ray had a past together. That's just my opinion. It kind of makes too much sense or something. And we made mistakes, and then they just die, I guess, and the four boys and the four girls are all happy like they are in the ending, because the ending's too cute to not actually have it happen. I'm sorry. I adore Dashing Pendulum. You all know that. And in terms of the final duel of the show, because it's kind of about the ending, it will be Yuya versus Yusho. I think that will be the final duel of the show, because people are like, oh, I want it to be Reiji, but I'm like, Yuya's dueled Reiji twice.
But he's never beaten them.
No, that does make sense, but then again, if there's the Zarc thing and Reiji, I don't know. Maybe Yuya and Reiji duel Zarc. I don't know. But I feel like Yuya versus Yusho will be a more powerful duel in the end. Because, like, Yuya's been living up to Yusho all this time. But then again, if Yuya has all the summoning methods, he'd be too overpowered for Yusho. Now that I think about it. Because, like, Yusho, if he doesn't have Pendulum, what does he have? Tribute summoning? Is that it? Is that it? Like, he's not gonna beat Yuya, who has Pendulum, Exceeds, Fusion, and Synchro. He's not gonna win, so maybe the final duel will be Reiji, or it'll be a battle royale between all the U-boys, or Yuya versus Yuzu. That would be cool. I don't know. I just don't know, but I'm also kind of mad I really want my first one with the Bracer Girls versus the Dragon 4 duel to happen, because Yuri and Serena haven't dueled yet. They're the only counterpart pair who hasn't dueled each other, because technically Yuto dueled Ruri, technically, for like 10 seconds before he switched back. So, I want that to happen, but that's me and my crazy things. I just want everyone to be happy in the end. That's all I want. I want them to be happy and cute.
You're a simple girl,
yes,
Rarity.
I want Yugo and Rin to be happy. I want Yuto and Ruri to be happy. I want Yuya and Yusa to be happy. I want Yuri to not be a total jerk.
Well, it will be. It is very difficult to predict how this ending is going to play out. Forte, I'm going to switch it over to you now. Rarity, you gave some great insight, and hopefully you guys comment down below how you think this show will end, if you think it's going to end a lot darker than Rarity thinks it will end, even though most Yu-Gi-Ohs, as we know, do not end on a very dark note, usually at all on a dark note. Forte, what are your thoughts on all this?
Well, I just wanted to say that, like Rarity, I noticed the summary and it said, like, Zarc, all the feelings that you had for Yuya helped him revive, and I was like, oh my goodness, he's so OP. Because if he has the memories of the U-Boys, that means he's like, well, I already know all your decks, and you don't know what I'm running. So that just immediately came to my mind, because he's going to be ridiculously strong, because he knows all their decks, he has all their memories. But another thing about Zarc is, I'm pretty sure, like 99.9% sure, given the TCG packs and what will probably happen in the absorption of all the U-Boys, that one thing Zarc didn't have when he dueled Ray the first time is he didn't have Pendulum Summoning. And I think that may really come into play if he duels Ray. I'm kind of on the fence about what I want Ray to do, even if I really want her to necessarily come back. I for sure don't want her to save the day again. Because the first time when she used those 4 cards, Zarc had no idea about them. Assuming he also has his memories from the past, then he's going to remember those 4 cards, unless they're just something completely OP, like if they're on the field, you just lose. I'm not really sure what those cards do, but he knows about them now. So I don't think the same trick is going to work again. And you mentioned this in one of your reviews, Dylan. I thought this was really important as well. There was a moment when I think, unfortunately, when Rin was getting transferred or turned into particle dust, whatever you want to call it, where the guy was like, "Oh, I thought we were going to wait until it was like 50%." He was like, "We ain't got time for that. Let's do it now." I was like, "Whoa, I think we need to calm down." Yeah. Oh, was that Rory?
Yeah. I know when Rin died. I know when my baby died.
Yeah, that's true. I'm sure you're the expert on that one. But when Rory then was transferred, the guy was like, "Hey, we're supposed to wait till 50%." He's like, "Man, we ain't got time for that. Do it now."
And you wonder if that will have repercussions at some point.
Right. I don't think Yu-Gi-Oh! Is dark enough to do some kind of really gross Frankenstein's monster thing, like it didn't work well, and Ray came out really disfigured or something. Where I don't think that will happen, but I think something will go wrong with the process. And I actually want to allude all the way back to when the Lancers were first formed. Reiji said this. He said Rara was the key to ending the war. And if you think about his name, Ra, it kind of sounds like Ray as well, meaning light, and obviously Zarc is darkness. So going back to what you said about the Akaba brothers, the Akaba brothers as well as Leo dueling together to defeat Zarc, I think that's actually a really, really good possibility. I actually think that Leo may actually try and duel Zarc on his own and lose, and then it will be up to Reiji and Rara to duel and defeat Zarc. Because I actually think Rara may actually be the key to beating Zarc. I really think that, and that also could be that Ray kind of chose him maybe as her vessel in a way, because it's really important that Rara can apparently read minds. That's a very interesting power he has.
Pegasus 2.0.
Yeah, basically. He's like, I don't need a Millennium item. I was born this way. Which is just crazy. I love it. But I think that is going to be very important, and I think Rara may actually be the way that they end the war. Now, assuming that all that comes to fruition, I'm assuming Zarc will win. Zarc will lose to someone. Even if that theory doesn't hold, I think what's going to happen at the end, I was kind of on the fence. I couldn't decide. Earlier on in the series, I said for sure how it would end is that the worlds would stay separate and you'd be able to travel in between, and people would live happily and they travel in between and see each other, because I've grown so attached to these characters. I would hate for them not to be able to see each other again and they just move to their own dimensions, and that's that. But now that we know about the unified world, I feel like that could be a way of correcting everything. Yeah. What if the worlds did merge back together, became one, but it was peaceful and everyone didn't die or something weird happened?
It is hinted out in the opening, because part of the lyrics of Pendulum Beat is, "We will go to this new world that's never been seen before." So, and plus it's in the opening, so that is evidence.
And the opening and ending have the new world, and of course the ending, which I love that ending. The ending is pretty awesome. Freaking Yugo photo bombing. But,
yes,
that's smart. The photo frame, I believe, could actually be the last scene of Yugioh Arc-V, just them chilling, taking a picture. The main bracelet girls and the U-boys. I do want to see what happens to the other characters. I was a little disappointed in that sense that we did focus a lot on the U-boys and the bracelet girls and didn't focus really on any other characters. We saw Shun kind of looking at Yuta like, "Yo, what are you doing?" But he's become a meme, but it is kind of funny. But I do think that's how it could end, and I really think that Reiji and Rara will probably defeat Zarc, because the closest thing to Yuya's rival is really Reiji. So I kind of think he'll have a huge role. And since it's just been alluded that Rara is actually really, really strong, I mean, Jack said if he gets over his fear, he could be really strong. Reiji said he's the key to ending the war way, way, way back when. And now Reiji said, "Oh my goodness, I've created a monster. You're actually stronger than I thought." But he didn't create a monster. I think he actually created our savior, if you want to call him that. So I think that's what could come to fruition. And I think the world will become one again and everyone will live happily. At least hopefully. I don't think we'll have any permanent deaths, except for maybe Roger. I thought we would have seen him again, but I guess that wormhole just sucked him up somewhere. I really thought he could be plotting in Standard and doing something bad there, but we really don't have enough time, so I don't know. I don't really want him to permanently die. I didn't like him, but I mean, I don't want him to die. So hopefully maybe we'll see him at the end, just in Standard, like his clothes are ripped and he's like, "What in the world just happened?" Just chilling from the wormhole, something like that. But I do think it'll be a happy ending.
Well, great insight, Forte, Rarity, Speedroid. Thank you, all three of you, for joining me, and I hope you guys enjoyed this podcast. It was a lot of great food for thought, as there always is. I love doing these summary podcasts, and it's sad that there's only going to be 3 more after this one. By the way, Yu-Gi-Oh! 6 Jump Festa is in 5. When you'll be seeing this, it's in 5 days. We could be getting the new protagonist look this week, and if a
Oh
new
my
show gets
gosh.
announced, of course there will be these podcasts. I will be doing them for the new show as well, and then there will be 30 more to look forward to. So hopefully it's not a done series come March, but no matter what, Arc-V is.
But we still have the manga.
Well,
we
that's
still have
true.
our thing.
That's true. But we don't have.
Yep.
I'm only referring to the episode, the summaries. But no, we do have the manga. The manga will be able to live on with those Arc-V manga characters. But thank you to all three of you for joining me. If you would like to give your plugs, that would be perfect. And everyone, please check these three out. All their stuff will be down below.
Right. I do I'm mostly active on Twitter. That's where I do most of my talk and everyday life stuff. That's where I'm most active. Like Dylan's mentioned, I'm Xyzeon there in Twitter. That's my Twitter handle, and the same goes for my YouTube channel. It's empty right now because it was on shaky ground, but it's all right now. I'm probably gonna be doing some stuff later on. I'm getting a new PC soon, so hopefully I'll be able to do some videos when I have time, if college is nice to me next year. So yeah, and also on Tumblr I go by Speedroid Night. That's where I do post the DMC's translations for the summaries. So yeah, if you want to follow me there for any anime news or whatever, be sure to follow me there.
Alright, hey, you all should know me by now. I've been on this channel like 5 times already, but I'm gonna say the same plug. Hi, I'm RarityFanGirl. I dubbed the Arc-V manga. You should only go check it out. Since last time I was here on Dylan's review of Scale 16 with me, Scale 9 has been released, and it is amazing. You should all go check it out, especially if you love seeing Yuri, because Yuri is a big focus in that chapter, along with me going insane with Sora. It was really fun. And as an update on Scale 10, my lines are due at the end of this month. If all goes well, and I'm not promising anything, if all goes well, I might be able to get Scale 10 out for Zarc, miss guys. You guys get Zarc, and you guys might get Scale 10, but I can't promise anything because voice acting and the holidays, you all know the gist of how things go with real life and stuff. But we're gonna hope, so I'm gonna do everything I can to try to get it out as soon as possible for you guys, because Scale 10 is gonna be, it's the finale of this arc I'm doing. It's gonna be awesome. Yugioh comes back. It's gonna be great. I'm gonna love it. I also do AMVs, I also do other comic dubs, I do voice acting, I do reaction videos to certain things. I'm going to be in a very, very big Arc-V fan project coming up. I'm not gonna say what it is. Dylan knows what it is, but I'm not gonna say it. And that will be coming out hopefully within the next few months or so, but you all know, you'll be able to tell which one it is once it's out. I'll probably make a big announcement about that, but that's what I do. You should all go check me out, and I'll see you guys in about maybe 2 weeks for the Scale 17 review. Woo!
Hey guys, Forte here. Yeah, I've been on Dylan's channel a few times. I'm so glad that he ended up asking me to be on another podcast. These are always a lot of fun to do. I love nerding out about Yu-Gi-Oh! And talking with other people about it, so always a lot of fun. But on my channel, I do a lot of theory videos, a few really like reaction discussion type videos. I do some dual deck profiles I did in the past. I wouldn't mind doing it again, but I definitely want to focus more on just like the Arc-V anime. But with it coming to a close, I also want to expand out to the manga, because thanks to 2 of the people in here, I did start reading the manga, and I absolutely love it. And if you guys haven't checked out the manga, or also checked out like Rarity's dub of the manga, is really great. I probably just gave her a plug for her thing herself, but why not? But it is a really great manga, and I started reading it, so I would definitely like to expand some of my theories and things to the manga. And I also want to do some more like just duel videos, some fun things, maybe some character deck duels on Yu-Gi-Oh! Pro, and just some really fun deck duels. Recently some dude just commented on my video from way back when, and he was like, hey, you didn't post the deck list for your Dice Jar video. So I'm definitely going to do a Dice Jar duel, because I think it's hilarious to just gamble. And so I'm definitely going to do that again, and then have a deck profile for that awesome top tier deck that you guys are going to see, the power of Dice Jar. But I also have a few announcements other than that. Someone made an awesome intro for me, so I'll give my plug to her on my channel probably next week, because my exams will end, and I've definitely wanted to give a shout out for her for everything she's done on the channel and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, that's basically my channel. Bunch of Yu-Gi-Oh stuff. Nothing too fun, but too important, I should say. But I do enjoy when you guys take time out of your day, because I know you have a lot of options that you can do on YouTube and watch stuff. So just the fact that you give me some moments of your time means a lot. So yeah, come by and see what I'm all about.
Yeah, it really, great plugs, guys. 3 incredible people. Again, Speedroid for Yu-Gi-Oh! News, person I've been going to for almost a year now. Just incredible, up-to-date news. Definitely follow her on all of her platforms. Rarity, and a great person as well. Follow her on YouTube, follow her on Tumblr. Her manga dubs are amazing. And Forte, really good food for thought discussions and theories on YouTube. Definitely follow all 3 of these people. Thank you, all 3 of you, for coming on. And again, I always say it, we are just 4 people of a much wider, huger community, and it really is incredible that after all these years, the Yu-Gi-Oh! Community is still as strong and as respectful as it is in today. I mean, it really, you get your trolls now and then, but for the most part, I mean, everyone is just so respectful and kind, and the fact that you would take 50 minutes out of your day to listen to 4 of us just ramble on about the show is really just all speculation about the show, too, just for the next few episodes, is absolutely incredible and means the world to all of us. So thank you to the 3 for joining me today. Thank you to all of you, especially for watching. I hope you comment down below. I hope you have an amazing week. Again, look for that news. The 6th protagonist could be revealed, if there is one, this week at Jump Festo, or maybe even before then in scans or whatnot. So anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. As always, have an amazing day. I will see you later.